officer. Of course, I tell him all the time, everybody calls him the dog catcher, but he is more than the dog catcher. And as most of you know, we are having a problem in with McGee with dogs and with cats, but there's not much we can do about that. But there are steps that the city is taking to provide a safe area for everyone. There's some questions I wanted to ask him and some information that I needed that I thought would help all of us. So if you've got any questions, you can send them, you can put them on this video right now, and we'll check with him too. Okay, thank you, Benny.
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you coming. Tell us a little bit about the title, the Animal Control Officer.
The Animal Control Officer's duties is to enforce the laws of the animals. Mm-hmm. That's keeping them off the street, make sure they ain't been abused or neglected, beaten on, hurt, and basically just fulfilling the laws of the city.
Mm-hmm. Any of our ordinances or anything like that, you're entrusted with seeing about that. Speaking of ordinances, if people do not obey the ordinances or the law, what happens?
Well, if I get called out or if I'm on the streets and I see your dog chained, which they call it tethering now, what I do, I serve you a paper, which is an ordinance number 288. It explains all the policies, the rules, and the laws of the city of McGee as far as animals. Mm-hmm. Well, you have 5 days to comply once I serve you. Mm-hmm. If you do not comply within 5 days, that 6th day, I'm issuing citations.
Which is how much? Or is it just a form right now? Oh, that's right, because the judge sets it.
And the judge sets the fine.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Now, after that, you still don't comply, then I can write you again, get the PD to come with me, and I can pick your dog up.
Well, I would think, when you mentioned tethering, that was such a big conversation last year, because when it got so cold, and everybody was just freezing to death, there were so many animals that were left outside. And I really did not even understand the tethering law at that time. And what that is if you've got a dog chained or roped to it can be to most anything, can't it? I mean, it can be a structure or it can be a stop thing in the yard, whatever. And if that dog is left out there, then you need to call and get the information in.
Yeah, if anybody that lives in the city of McGee, if you see a dog that you think has been abused, contact City Hall. You can contact the police department. They'll dispatch me, and I'll go over there and look. And if I got the right citations, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Well, one thing people need to do too is help you with the addresses. See, if you call, I'd be saying, well, it's down there past my friend's house. We do need to be sure that we have addresses when we call them in. One other thing, there's a bunch of things I want to ask you about, but this is a big one to me, is rabies, dogs and rabies. Because we had an incident with this year that a girl got bitten, and we had no way to know if she had that dog had been treated or shot, vaccinated, and she had to take all those shots herself. So what are the laws on rabies?
Law for the state of Mississippi, all dogs and cats must be vaccinated for rabies.
A cat?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. You can find anybody that's interested and wants to know more about the rabies law can go to the rabies statute of the state of Mississippi, and they can find out anything they want to know about the rabies. You can get your dog vaccinated. It's a year to 3 year vaccination.
Oh, okay.
And what I understand, they'll give you a tag, put on your dog, show that they have been vaccinated. The city of McGee does have a rabies law. Actually, it's the state of Mississippi that set that rabies law. But all dogs and cats must be vaccinated. Because what I'm trying to, the awareness I'm trying to get out to everybody, if you don't have your dog vaccinated and you let them out to use the restroom and they take off out with some other dogs, you don't know what kind of animals they're going to run into.
Well, that's true.
If they can be bitten by a rabid bat. They could be bitten by another rabid wildlife animal. You never know. So that's why it's so important for people to get your animals vaccinated.
If you pick up an animal that does not have the vaccinated tag, can you issue, is that a fine if you don't have your dog or cat vaccinated?
Yes, ma'am. Sure is.
You know, until this person got bitten this time, I really didn't know a lot about rabies. I really didn't. I always heard it my whole life. I've heard of rabid dog, all that kind of stuff. But if you go back and you look, and I'll tag this link in my article, to actually what rabies can cause, it will scare you to death. No wonder that girl had those shots.
Yeah, you can go. You go on YouTube and type in rabies.
I don't think I want to.
No,
That scared me to death if I saw them.
And on the ordinance of the city of McGee, if anybody is not aware of the tethering law, if you will contact City Hall, or you can contact me by the city phone, and if you want a copy of this ordinance, I will be glad to get it out. That way everybody will know that they are laws and ordinance for the city of McGee on animals running at large.
Well, you know, really we need to get it on the City of McGee website page too.
Yep.
So it would be accessible.
Right. The city of McGee is wanting no dogs on run lines, no dogs on chains, no dogs on ropes. They must be either housed or in a pen.
Interesting. So basically what you're saying is they don't want them tied up?
No, ma'am. Go. If something else a lot of folks don't understand, in my research and investigation over the holidays, the chaining a dog can make him vicious. And they are more vicious towards children being tied up because they can't, their fight or flight has been taken away from them. They're chained to a tree, they're chained to a power pole, a house. Their fight and flight's over with. So they turn vicious.
Well, I worry so much about the children. Anytime I see that you've picked up a dog, I start thinking, oh my gosh. If I suspect a dog has been abused, can you just go pick that dog up? I mean, how does that work?
First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the address that the caller sends me to. I'm going to look at him myself. Now, if he's skin and bones, yes. I'll call the PD, they'll come over, I'll take the dog into custody.
So you can take it right then if it's evident?
If it's evident that dog has been abused, starved, like I say, skin and bones, well, you know he ain't been fed, no water, yes, you can.
That's interesting because I would hope it would be that way, but I didn't know. I want to talk to you a little bit about the dog pound. Now, I know that this is something y'all have worked hard on, and we, as City of McGee, has continued to look at other options also. But is there anything the public can do to help with the situation at the dog pound?
Yes, you can. If anybody wants to donate food, water pails, water buckets, you can bring them to the city barn Monday through Friday from 7 to 3. And I'll put them in storage. We always taking donations. If that's something that somebody's interested in, you're more than welcome. We'll be glad to take donations.
Well, you know, I do think there's so many people that are dog lovers, and they don't want to see any dog mistreated or mishandled. I noticed that the Rankin girl had on Facebook about these, what was it, pens things that they had on at Walmart on sale. And didn't you end up getting some?
Yes, ma'am. We have some folks buy for. The reason for that is I approached the board about moving the dog pound from where it's at to a new location. It's out there at McNair Springs. It's a bigger building. They have plenty of room. They won't be cramped up like they are now. Which I think it'd be a good idea to move the dog pound. Like it's a better place.
Well, somebody said the shade is a big
shade,
factor.
it's an enclosed building. It's a blocked enclosed building. Don't have water and lights out there.
Mm-hmm.
And
I didn't even know that building was down there. I didn't. I never paid any attention to it.
a year or so ago.
I didn't have any idea.
Back to that question you asked me, Miss Sue, about a dog being mistreated or inhumanely treated. Can an animal control officer take them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here in the ordinance number 288, it listed under inhumane treatment, which it says any treatment to any animal which deprives the animal of necessary substance, including food, water, protection from weather, or any other treatment, teasing or poisoning of other abominable treatment, as may be determined by a licensed health officer and determined by an authorized law enforcement officer or animal control officer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's right there.
You can do it. You know, we've only really talked about dogs and touched on cats, but as the animal control officer, if I have problems, can I call you?
Yes, ma'am.
So what are some of the things you see in town?
Dogs.
I do want you to, let's go back to dogs. Let's go back to dogs, because one thing that Benny told me that's so interesting is that that Eastside has become a dumping ground for dogs. And when he was telling me, I was like, well, what do you mean? And it's interesting, and I want him to tell you a little bit about it.
East Side, when I say it's done become a dumping ground, when I was appointed animal control officer, and to this date, I have picked up over 20-something dogs just out of East Side.
Out of Eastside.
Out of East Side. And they all running the streets.
And they're not anybody's dog, right? I mean,
Well,
as
some
far
of
as we
them-
know.
I picked up some, and my volunteers that's put them on the Pound's website, and the owners come get them.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up one last week, and the owner just come got him.
Do they have to pay to get the
Yes,
dog?
ma'am. If a dog is picked up on the city streets of McGee,
Mm-hmm.
it is a $50 impound fee. Now, if you want to go up there and you want to adopt one,
Mm-hmm.
that's a $35 adoption fee. And also in the city of McGee, they don't see, and it's in this ordinance also. And I'll remind folks, if anybody wants a copy of this ordinance, call me and I will bring you one. That way to educate everybody on the laws and city and ordinance of the city of McGee. Now also, feral dogs, a feral dog that had escaped this location and has become wild, dangerous, or untamed. Or untamed, can be picked up.
Mm-hmm.
And dogs running at large, the city does not want dogs running at large.
Okay, what about this? If you, let's say it's after business hours at City Hall or wherever, do we call the police? Or do
Yes,
we can call the police and then they
Right.
have your number?
Right, they will dispatch me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's a way they can go with
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Well, I think and I feel, and I think I said I think and feel about 50 times, but to me this is an important area in our city for safety and for just enjoying life.
Mm-hmm.
So I am so glad that you have taken this job. We actually had a hard time getting somebody else to be our animal control person, and we are very proud to have you and very glad that you're taking an interest in it and doing as well of a job as you're doing, because I'll tell you something, Benny is following the law. You may not like something he does, but he's following the law, and that's how we've got to operate. That's
There's
how
also, back in 1999, I didn't bring it with me, but I got the Senate bill. It's called Senate Bill 2699 of the state of Mississippi. All animal control officers must complete a 40-hour training course that is recognized by the Board of Veterinary Medicine Minimum Standards and Mississippi Minimum Standards. You just like a police officer, you got to be certified.
That's right.
Animal control officer, a lot of folks probably don't understand, it covers right here in this ordinance too. Animal control officer does have limited police powers. That's where the writing of tickets and citations comes in.
If you write a ticket or citation, do they then go to court, or then
Yes, ma'am.
they go to court?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're constantly having somebody in court, I would assume,
Yes, ma'am.
all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I know that you are interested in our dog situation also. If you live in an area that you feel that dogs are being dumped, if you can let the city know, and of course we're going to give you the phone number to contact Brittany, but we've got to work on this problem together. It is a dangerous problem. Like I said earlier, I worry about the children. It's a health issue, and it's a citywide problem. I hope you will be careful and watching out for dogs and helping us be diligent in catching them. The number is 601-503-3927, and I will publish that on McGee News so you can have that. But you can, if you can't remember the number,